Well, as you know, we've had an update in the world of college football. Georgia back to well, I guess they're not back, but they are at number one, where they probably belonged at the beginning of this thing in the college football playoff. And there's been a lot of reaction about um, who was number four. Frankly, who was number three, who was number four. Number three was not so much a big deal, but with Georgia back at number one, now you're starting to see everything come together. Ryan and I talked about this a lot on riding home, but I did want to delve into this a little bit more. Um, Obviously, if Georgia keeps it clean from here through the first game in Atlanta, they will play their second game in Atlanta. Well, their third game this year in Atlanta, which would be, the Oregon game, the SEC championship game, and then the Peach Bowl. There is not really a much better setup than Georgia playing in Atlanta. Perhaps LSU play, well, definitely LSU playing in New Orleans, Atlanta playing in Atlanta, excuse me, Georgia playing in Atlanta. These are things that college football world does not want. But when those teams are really good, it's just what it is. I mean, there's nothing Georgia can do about. I'm not even going to get into all that. I mean, it's just what it is. If Alabama had a dome, maybe we'd be playing this thing in Birmingham. That's where the first SEC championship was. Or Tennessee. They'll have a 60,000 seat dome at some stage, but they're not going to be hosting big games with a 60,000 seat stadium. So, I think speaking of Tennessee, I I can't tell if they're in good position or not. And, it looks to me like Clemson, Alabama, they just don't have the games to get back into this. LSU is the team that if they win out, meaning the SEC championship as well, they're going to be in the playoff. I don't care what people think. I'm telling you what's going to happen. All right, we can talk about our feelings all we want, but the reality is that if LSU has a two-loss team playing in the conference college football playoff, that would have happened with Auburn in 2017. They just got their doors blown off by the Dogs. So I think that's an important thing to see here. The SEC championship game will be an elimination game. It won't just be that everybody LSU's got something really to play for. They are only a 3-point favorite at Arkansas, if the last I saw, which to me was, man, that seems low. And maybe it's moved. I'm checking as we speak. No, they're a 3-point favorite. So it looks like the Dogs will be about a 15-point favorite, 14-point favorite. I did want to update you on this. Listen, there's this. We've created some value here with our Kelee event. It's in 11 days, the Sunday after the Kentucky game on the 20th. Look, and if you've already bought a ticket to the event, there's no need to contact me. I'll be contacting you. We're doing the photos are going to be just folks that come, they get the photo. You're not paying extra for the inscriptions. You're not paying extra if you want to bring things. You're only getting 5 though. We're not going to be there all night, and we are going to keep the lines moving. But the value has increased. If you buy the ticket today, you definitely get a photo. You definitely get your moment to talk with Kelee briefly. We're not going to be there all night, like I say. And up to 5 things. It's just 5 things, and you get the book, which I failed to mention. So that is some serious value. Do not miss out on this. We are running low. Okay, so we're just trying to knock this thing out, be done with it. Take advantage now. These tickets are going to be gone soon. All right, soon. And I doubt we will make it to that Sunday where there, a couple of things remaining the way it's been lately. No, we won't. So the value has been created. Thank you to everyone who has purchased so far, and your value has increased as well. That's why I didn't take payments yet on the little things. So we're all good there. I'm really excited for this for everybody. Back to what we're talking about here. And by the way, the book is still available. If you cannot come, let me know. Okay, you can still get some stuff signed if you're not, in town, etc. But get in touch with me now on that front. People are phone off the hook about this event. Georgia should be the one. Georgia should not fall below 3, even with a loss. Ohio State and Michigan are going to have to play each other. Someone's falling out of the top 4 there, you would imagine. It also seems to me like, if Tennessee is going to fall out of the top 4 with a loss to Georgia, a 14-point loss, And yeah, I mean, listen, Reese Davis, his view is Georgia really kicked their teeth in, and I think that's true. However, I mean they only lost by 14 on the road. If you want to make excuses for Tennessee, you can. If you want to get explanations for Tennessee, you can. So there's kind of a what folks don't need to happen if they're trying to get in. Obviously, I think the winner of Ohio State and Michigan, even if they don't win the Big Ten, they're probably in. Georgia is in, unless they lose 2 games. So those are the 2 teams. The question is who gets the other 2 spots. If you're if you're one of these sharks swimming around looking for a spot, you cannot have LSU winning the SEC championship. That's just not going to work. You really would prefer the Big 12 champion not be undefeated, because then TCU walking right in. I think after that, if you're USC, if you're Oregon, you can. It looks to me right now like the committee is basically saying, "Hey, these are the only teams that can get in: UCLA, USC, Oregon, LSU, Tennessee, TCU, Michigan, Ohio State, and Georgia. They're not going to Clemson and Alabama. There's just not enough meat on the bone at the end of the year for either of those 2 teams. I mean, like let's say Clemson beats number 15 North Carolina. They're not going to move them up. It's not going to matter. It's not going to jump Oregon. They got beat by 3 touchdowns. That's not going to happen. Secondly, this sort of 8 team or 10 team battle royale, because I'm including UCLA in it, there's only so many paths here as well. Tennessee doesn't get to play on the last weekend of the game of the year. That's going to hurt them. LSU totally can jump them, which is probably, of course, LSU would have to win, but USC could jump them. Or USC is behind Tennessee. They could win the Pac-12 and jump. I was talking with a college football insider. Literally, I'm not going to go further than that. And their point was, hey, there is a clause in the college football playoff that conference champions are given extra, they get extra benefit there. We know the SEC champion, whether it's, we don't know. We're pretty sure the SEC champion, whether it's LSU or Georgia, is getting in. If LSU steals a bid and gets in, where do they put them? You're not going to put Georgia at 2 and LSU at 4 or at 3. So what do you drop Georgia to 2, put LSU at 4? Ohio State or the Big Ten winner goes to 1. Who plays in Atlanta then? That's a good question. But I just thought the reaction was it was an embarrassing weekend for the College Football Playoff Committee. I mean that was not good. And now we see that they have corrected some of their mistakes. I don't know what we're looking at moving forward. Tennessee cannot lay a dud and play poorly against Missouri. They shouldn't. There's games at home and all this stuff, but I'm just going to let you know that's a noon game at home at Neyland, CBS, and Missouri's defense is pretty good. The offense is not unbelievable, but the defense is pretty good. And I think that, that's the one thing about Tennessee coming off that loss to the Dawgs. I'd be a little concerned about that. I got to tell you, I'd be a little bit, kind of bothered by that situation. That would kind of, I'd be paying attention to that game. And we will be. I mean, obviously, we're going to be going to state, paying attention to that game, but that would cause me some concern watching that game. Now, Tennessee handles business and everything's fine. Texas Christian is a touchdown dog. Is it possible that we could see? It's also possible, y'all, if you're Tennessee and things go the right way, Georgia wins out. Ohio State and Michigan play one another. Texas Christian loses this week. It's also possible if you're Tennessee that you waltz in and you're the 3 seed. I mean, I don't know that that's likely, but I do not think they want a return game. And the problem with that is that the two teams that are kind of in the wheelhouse for being the number 4 team in these final rankings, Tennessee and Oregon, they've both been beaten by Georgia by multiple touchdowns. Now it was basically a home game for the Dogs in both situations, but and the same insider I talked to in college football, this is not like a media person. This is a person that is intimately involved in college football playoff actually committee and all that, not committee, college football playoff. So um, but I don't think that the committee is really going to want rematches. I know ESPN does not, and ESPN has some say. How much? That's a good question. But you watch SC to some degree. You watch whoever the Pac-12 champion is could very well, you know, wiggle in as the 4. Tennessee gets bumped to the 3, and the loser of Ohio State and Michigan could be in trouble. The only team that, to me, there are 2 teams that are really in good position right now, so long as they win. Well, 3. The Ohio State Michigan winner, the Georgia Bulldogs, and an LSU. I mean, LSU can say, "Oh, we have the best win in the country. We beat Georgia in Atlanta." Now, whether that will happen or not, I'm skeptical of, but you get my point.